we're going to talk about the top 10 characters for the month of December 2020. And before we get into that, I just want to give a big shout out to everybody that liked last month's video. My goodness, over 1,000 likes. I just want to appreciate it and say thank you to everyone that came out and liked last month's video. It's always one of my favorite videos to make and gets tremendous feedback. And we're going to talk about this month's top 10 characters, and we're also going to talk about the ISO 8s for them. And I'm also going to say that this list is going to lean towards Dark Dimension 4 and also going to lean towards this new game mode that's supposedly be coming out with Battle Pass. So I've got some ideas about that and that quick time PvP or real time PvP, whatever they call it, restricted quick play, because there's some characters that are really good in that. But first things first, let's get into some of the no-brainers right here. And we got to talk about Symbiote Spider-Man. And I guess we should talk about Carnage and Anti-Venom in the same sentence, right? Because they're all quite good. And the three of them work together. And those are my personal favorite three. And they're good in, you know, of course, raids and Dark Dimension. And I get so much use out of them. Love the symbiotes. And they are obviously one of the best teams in the game, and Symbiote Spider-Man, makes one of the best characters in the game. Easily makes the top 10 list. As far as ISO 8, Symbiote Spider-Man, I prefer Raider on him. Carnage, I prefer Skirmisher. And then Anti-Venom, I like Striker. All right, let's go on to the next part of the list. And we're going to go into Black Bolt. How can we not have Black Bolt? There's a couple of reasons why Black Bolt's on this list. I think Black Bolt also is going to get better over time when and finally people get Doctor Doom. His kit and his stats look like it's going to pair very well with Doctor Doom. And I guess we could say Invisible Woman also, but I didn't put Invisible Woman on this list. But probably someday Invisible Woman is going to be paired up with Doctor Doom and Black Bolt, and it's just going to be this bonkers team. It's just the way it's going to be. And so Black Bolt has to make the list. I prefer, of course, Striker on him because of his ability to remove positive effects on his basic attack. And if he can hit twice, that's great, because then he's taken away a bunch of positive effects. And then also, honorable mention along with Black Bolt, of course, is Yo-Yo. The combo of them together is quite good, believe me. And I do like having Skirmisher on her. Some of these characters we're going to talk about is like, hey, yeah, this guy, like I said, Symbiote Spider-Man, they're great with Anti-Venom and Carnage, right? Black Bolt, great with Yo-Yo. So that's kind of how we're going through this list. I'm not sure if I'm going to use him in Dark Dimension 4. He hasn't really been a strong contender for Dark Dimension 4 and 3 or Dark Dimension in general, but also just because he's a counter to Ultron and potentially a soft counter to Doctor Doom. Because of his passive and villain tech. Just keep that in mind. And for that matter, Doc Ock even. Anyways, let's move on to the next character on the list is Hela. And Hela has been a strong contender for a lot of reasons. Probably going to take her into Dark Dimension 4. She was quite a good character in Dark Dimension 3 for me. And that has to do with her summon, which we call Greg, which is the Undead Asgardian. There's nothing better than someone ulting into an undead Asgardian. Now, I do want to point out there's some hard counters to Hela right now. X-23 and Carnage just absolutely destroy Hela. They're hard counters to Hela, but Hela herself is quite good, being able to spread negative status effects everywhere. Also, she helps you unlock technically 3 legendary characters, but directly responsible for helping unlock Black Bolt and Phoenix, right? And then Black Bolt will take you to Ebony Maw. So Hela, good in Dark Dimension 4, helps unlock legendary characters, so she has to make the list. But boy, Symbiotes and X-23 just run over Asgardians nowadays. These guys don't really hold up well. Asgardians in general don't hold up well on defense anymore in war. Let's move on. Mr. Sinister. Okay, so Mr. Sinister is making a huge comeback for a couple reasons. People are getting quite good use of Mr. Sinister in Dark Dimension 4. He was also quite good for me personally in Dark Dimension 3. Also, if Doom becomes a thing, and he will, cloning Doom will be a thing going forward. I'm pretty sure that any good counter to Doom is going to involve Mr. Sinister. What could I say? Now, I was worried about this guy because of the ISO 8 didn't really reflect all of his goodness on his clone, like, so, but it still doesn't matter. He's kind of a future-proof character because you could clone whatever awesomeness is on the other side. And if they've got Ultron, well, you've got an Ultron. They've got Dr. Doom, well, you've got a Dr. Doom. It's just been the best thing ever. And that's why I love him. And I want to say I put the healer on him because he's quite good as a healer. And let me back up to Hela and say that I've got Raider on her. I have pretty much characters that have AoE do quite good with Raider. And of course, characters that have healing do well with healing. So we've got to put him on there. And I can't say enough good things about him. I'm personally going to be, I'm looking at him very closely for taking him into Dark Dimension 4. Next on the list is Ebony Maw. And I just want to talk about Ebony Maw specifically, not necessarily Thanos and Proxima and Cull and all of that. But of course, Black Order is the best team, right? Thanos and friends, Ebony Maw and friends, if you will. But Ebony Maw is just such a good character by himself, and he was tremendously helpful in Dark Dimension 3. He will be tremendously helpful and required to go through Dark Dimension 4. Love this guy. I can't say enough good things about him, and yes, I will be taking him, of course, into Dark Dimension 4. I put Skirmisher on him. Thanos is good, but I don't know. The Ebony Maw and Thanos do quite well together, paired up inside of raids. Still, Thanos is a battery, but I'm not as sprung on Thanos as I am Ebony Maw. I also say I'm getting a lot of good use out of Proxima lately. She spawns with speed up, and even by herself, can go off before ZEMO. And we'll talk about ZEMO a little bit later, but I just keep Proxima on your radar. Plus, she might get used in Dark Dimension 4. I think people are going to be using Proxima in Dark Dimension 4, so keep Proxima on your radar. Next on the list is Emma Frost, and I can't say anything bad about Emma Frost. I'm gonna also wanting to take her along Mr. Sinister inside of Dark Dimension 4. I also want to point out that I have toggled between healer and striker on her ISO 8. In a recent war, I came up against some very, very large Emmas, and they were using the healer ISO, and I believe they were either 6 red or 7 red Emmas. And when they still had all of the defensive rooms up, but I was not able to clear a solo Emma with 3 members of Black Order. We're talking about like a full 7 red, 7-star Thanos could not get past Emma's passive healing. So Emma, this being able to heal herself for 15%, plus also to add barrier, and then when you start stacking that with potentially, like, let's say a level 5 ISO healer. Oh, do you guys remember how much fun it was with Captain Marvel back in the day? Yeah, Emma's doing the same thing. Believe me, Emma's the real deal. She's probably my favorite character right now, hands down. I mean, I've talked about Black Bolt being my favorite character for a long time. I think Emma's my favorite character. Plus, in PvP, she's almost like an auto-include. Because PvP, there's, for example, right now they're running quick play restricted PvP. And the thing is there's no legendary. So it kind of breaks apart the entire team of, let's say, Empowered Thanos. Emma becomes mandatory top pick. And in draft PvP, her and ZEMO were probably the best 2 characters without a doubt. She's probably... Well, she is my favorite character right now. Her and Black Bolt are my 2 favorite characters. Anyways, hopefully we get a 3rd milestone event. No mention of that in the last blog post, but in October's blog post back about a month and a half ago, they did mention a 3rd Emma event. So we'll see if that happens or not. But I suspect that it's going to be later on in this month. So that we can finish off and get her to 7 stars, right? Let's go. All right, next on the list, we have to talk about Phoenix. Phoenix, of course, is, pretty much the queen of Dark Dimension 3. She's going to be needed for Dark Dimension 4. And the thing about Phoenix is that she just is very useful always, and she was the first 6-star unlock legendary character. She didn't really, her Dark Phoenix doesn't really get the benefit of ISO. So I did something kind of interesting here, Skirmisher, and I've been just upgrading like her resist, her focus, and her damage, but I've been kind of ignoring her health and her armor. That way she can just die and then get into the Dark Phoenix sooner than later. But yeah, I don't need to talk about Phoenix. For a long time, Phoenix was the best character in the game. She's still, a top 10 character without a doubt. Quite good, not going anywhere. That is for sure. All right, I'm going to put 2 honorable mentions in here. Just because I think when this Battle Pass comes out, there's going to be a couple characters that you're going to want to have. Some staple Battle Pass type characters. And I'm going to say, Emma is already on this list of characters, but I also want to include ZEMO and X-23. And then I didn't put on this list Taskmaster, but you could probably put Taskmaster in there somewhere. But ZEMO, being able to go first is such a big deal. And this 40% speed, and non-minion Hydra allies gain 40% speed. There's some teams out there running around with Red Skull and ZEMO and 3 minions that are destroying everything right now. Don't sleep on ZEMO. Plus, also, he's skill global. I think a lot of people are going to be taking ZEMO into Dark Dimension 4. He's quite good. He's also going to be a minion killer, probably indefinitely. Right here, 900% damage to minions. Yeah. Anyways, I'm telling you, don't sleep on ZEMO. Run, don't walk. Work on your ZEMO. And yeah, I put Raider on him. Pretty much, in general, characters that have some sort of AoE and don't have some sort of special ability on their basic attack are gonna get Raider. If they have some sort of special ability on their basic attack, like removing positive effects, a lot of times putting Striker is going to be the best choice. If there's a way of getting an assist, you probably want Skirmisher. If they have heal, you probably want to do healer. I'm just saying in general. Let's move on. X-23, again, being a hard counter to Hela, but this is the main thing, is when an enemy drops below 50% health, fills speed bar by 40%. It is so good. So good. And now she has the X-Men tag. And she is so good. Very quick ability block. I'm loving this. I mean, there's the team that I'm personally quite enjoying using in that restricted quick play is a team with Emma and ZEMO. So Emma's lowering the turn speed down of every team. There's so many good things about Emma. All of her kit's good, right? And then ZEMO goes fast. And then you got X-23, which is going to get sped up if someone drops below 50%. And then you use Proxima and Corvus. And Proxima spawns with speed up, so she goes before everybody. And your opponent almost always will be using a ZEMO. So you ping with the basic and get the assist from Corvus. And then X-23 gets boosted 40% turn meter and goes. All of this before your ZEMO or their ZEMO goes. I love it. Anyways, I'm telling you, don't sleep on X-23 and ZEMO. They're honorable mentions for this month's list. And of course, we've got her on Raider. Let's move on to Ghost. Ghost is new to the list. And she's making this list solely because of Dark Dimension 4, Dark Dimension 3. She's quite a good character. I do enjoy using Striker on her because of her turn meter removal on her basic attack. And plus on the full Pimtech team, you got X-Men, you got Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket assisting, so they get that Skirmisher Striker combo. She's great. I was reluctant to put her on this list. But I figured I might as well because I think she's here to stay. She definitely is the shining star of the Pimtech, and I enjoy playing her quite a bit. She's definitely a much better character than the rest of the Pimtech team, and I think she's going to be a superstar in Dark Dimension 4. So she made the list just for that reason only. Next on the list is MINN-ERVA, and MINN-ERVA's kind of bounced on and off this list, but she was the queen of Dark Dimension 2, then very useful in Dark Dimension 3. I'm sure she's going to be very useful in Dark Dimension 4. I still use her all the time, and I put her on this list just because I've never put a T4 onto her. I don't think I really need red stars that much. I mean, red stars, of course, help every character, but you don't really need red stars on her. I just, you know, I've gotten so much use and so much value out of MINN-ERVA, and I still use her quite a bit. So I do use her sometimes in raids, although symbiotes pretty much have taken over raids. You know, symbiotes, I like using the 3 that I mentioned with Black Bolt and Yo-Yo, or you can use full symbiotes. But when I'm not using symbiotes, I like using Ebony Maw and Thanos with MINN-ERVA, Hela, and Emma. It's just a fun team to play. Anyways, we're going to have to take her into Dark Dimension 3. I'm very certain of that. Let's keep going. Ultron will round up the bottom of the list. Just because Ultron's Ultron. And he no red stars on this guy yet. I'm worried that he's not doing enough damage. And I wish he... But once he gets going, he's still quite good. And he's still relevant today. And I have a soft spot in my, you know, for Ultron, but he's been out for 2 years and still quite good. And I'm just curious how it's going to play out if he does get red stars or when he gets red stars. I probably could have dropped him off the list though, but I just figured I might as well throw him on there. Anyways, there was a lot of other characters I wanted to put on this list. I just want to point that out. You know, I really struggled with this list this month on who to put and who not to put. You know, there were some characters like Doc Ock and Invisible Woman where I was like, oh, and I wanted to put them on there. And characters I didn't put on there like Shuri because I think she's just a little bit too squishy nowadays, but yet she's still good. You know, there's just only, and I did put 12. So let me know what you think in the comment section. So it's time for the giveaway. Although this giveaway doesn't really make any sense, but it just made me giggle. So I have to give a big shout out to 13 Mamba for this one right here. But I really hope you liked this video today, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star mobile boomer. There's more to this story. That was Cats, my girlfriend's cat's last Kit Kat. And I guess people were really upset on the way that I eat my Kit Kats. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section about this list. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye.